There are moments in life when everything shifts, not because the world around you changes, but because your mind does. True transformation begins the moment you adopt a sacred mindset, a way of thinking that aligns you with purpose, peace, and power. A sacred mindset is not just positive thinking. It is spiritual awareness. It is choosing to see through the lens of faith rather than fear. When you embrace this mindset, you stop reacting and start rising. You stop questioning your worth and start walking in divine identity. You stop living in survival mode and begin to live in surrender. The battles you face are not just around you. Many of them begin in the mind. But the moment you renew your inner dialogue, everything changes. Suddenly, problems become platforms, delays become preparation, pain becomes growth. You start to understand nothing is wasted. This sacred mindset teaches you to trust timing, to remain humble, to stay focused, and to stand firm. It silences the voice of anxiety and awakens the voice of faith. You begin to live with clarity, boldness, and confidence. You no longer chase validation, you carry presence. And when this mindset takes root, transformation isn't gradual, it's immediate. Because the moment your thinking shifts, your decisions shift, your habits shift, your atmosphere shifts, your destiny shifts. Today, choose the sacred mindset, choose surrender over stress, choose faith over fear, choose purpose over distraction. Everything in life begins in the mind. Before a breakthrough ever appears in reality, it first takes shape in your thoughts. The mind is the control center of your emotions, decisions, and behaviors. If you change the way you think, you automatically change the way you live. Many people try to change their circumstances without ever changing their mindset, and that's why the results don't last. Real transformation starts internally. The moment your thoughts come into alignment with truth, purpose, and faith, your life begins to shift in powerful ways. A mindset is more than a random thought. It is a pattern, a belief system, a lens through which you see everything. If the lens is cloudy with fear, insecurity, or negativity, even good opportunities will look unreachable. But when your mindset is renewed, when your thinking is elevated, what once felt impossible suddenly becomes achievable. You begin to see potential where you once saw problems. You start to recognize growth in the very places you used to feel stuck. Your mindset is sacred because it determines your direction. If you think small, you live small. If you believe you are defeated, you act defeated. But if you dare to think with faith, to think with confidence, to think with clarity, you unlock a level of power within you that was always there, just waiting to be activated. Your mind decides whether you stay in the past or move into the future. It decides whether you complain or create, whether you panic or persevere. Every major change in your life starts with a change in how you think about yourself, your purpose, and your situation. You don't need everything around you to shift. You need your perspective to shift. The most successful, fulfilled, and spiritually strong people are not those who never face challenges. They are those who think differently in the midst of them. They refuse to allow fear to become their narrative. They refuse to let doubt write their decisions. They choose thoughts that align with their calling, not their comfort. Transformation is not waiting on timing, it's waiting on mindset. The moment you decide to think from a higher place, you position yourself for acceleration. You begin to act with boldness, speak with purpose, and pursue your goals with determination. Old habits lose their grip, limiting beliefs begin to fall away, you stop surviving and start living intentionally. Your mindset either builds your future or blocks it. Guard it, shape it, renew it, and elevate it, because the quality of your thinking will always determine the quality of your life. The way you interpret challenges determines how you experience them. Many people look at hardship and immediately assume something is wrong or that they are being punished, but a sacred mindset views challenges through a completely different lens. Instead of asking, why is this happening to me? It asks, what is this preparing me for? When you see challenges as preparation, you begin to understand that every season of difficulty carries purpose. It is not meant to break you. It is meant to build you. Preparation often disguises itself as pressure. Growth rarely feels comfortable. Diamonds are formed under extreme pressure, and muscles only grow when they are stretched and torn. In the same way, your character, resilience, and faith are strengthened through adversity. A sacred mindset does not run from discomfort. It recognizes that discomfort is often the birthplace of development. It teaches you patience, wisdom, and dependence on something greater than yourself. When you shift your perspective, obstacles become opportunities. Delays become divine training. Setbacks become setups. Instead of resenting the process, you begin to respect it. You start to see that every challenge is shaping you into someone more capable of carrying the weight of your destiny. You are being refined, not rejected. You are being equipped, not abandoned. This mindset removes the victim mentality. It helps you take ownership of your growth and decisions. Rather than blaming life or circumstances, you lean into the process and look for the lesson. You start asking better questions. What is this teaching me? How can I grow from this? What strength is being developed in me right now? These questions open the door to transformation. They help you rise above temporary pain and focus on long-term purpose. A sacred mindset also understands timing. Just like seeds are buried before they rise, sometimes you feel hidden or isolated because something greater is being developed within you. Preparation seasons are often private, no applause, no spotlight, no recognition. But what is happening beneath the surface is powerful. The root must grow deep before the fruit can grow strong. When the time is right, the preparation will produce promotion. Seeing challenges as preparation releases peace. You no longer panic when things don't go according to your plan. You trust that there is a bigger picture unfolding. You stop resisting the process and start partnering with it. You stop asking to escape the challenge and start asking to be shaped by it. This mindset allows you to endure with hope, stand with confidence, and move forward with purpose. One of the greatest illusions we battle is the belief that we must control everything in order to succeed or feel safe. Control looks like constant planning, perfectionism, overthinking, and fear of the unknown. It creates stress, anxiety, and exhaustion. The more you try to control, the more overwhelmed you become. But the truth is, real power is not found in controlling everything. Real power is found in surrender. Surrender is not weakness. It is not giving up. It is not laziness. Surrender is choosing to trust a higher plan rather than forcing your own. It is the decision to release what you cannot change and focus on what you can. When you surrender, you are not losing control. You are transferring control to a source greater than your limitations. That is where strength is born. Control operates from fear. It says, if I don't handle this, everything will fall apart. Surrender operates from faith. It says, even if I don't understand this, I know it will work out for my good. Control shrinks your life. Surrender expands it. Control keeps you stuck in stress. Surrender frees your mind and opens doors you could never force open on your own. When you stop controlling, you create space for clarity. You begin to hear direction more clearly. Your decisions are no longer driven by panic, but by peace. You gain the ability to let go of timelines, expectations, and outcomes that don't align with your growth. You stop chasing everything and start attracting what is meant for you. Surrender places you in alignment with purpose. Surrender also unlocks resilience. When challenges come, controlling minds break, but surrendered minds bend without snapping. You become adaptable. You become steady. You learn to flow through seasons instead of fighting them. You trust that every shift has meaning, every closed door has protection, and every delay has divine timing. The most powerful version of you is not the one who has everything figured out. It's the one who knows how to release control and move in confidence. When you surrender, you silence fear, you silence doubt, you silence the pressure to perform. Instead, you step into ease, grace, and strength. You begin to operate from a place of inner security rather than external circumstances. You start to realize that surrender is not about losing power. It's about tapping into a power beyond your own. It is about letting go of the need to force outcomes and embracing the flow of purpose. It is the doorway to peace, clarity, and supernatural acceleration. One of the greatest freedoms you can ever experience is the moment you no longer live for the approval of others. So many people are controlled by opinions, applause, and acceptance. They shape their choices based on what others might think rather than what they were created to do. This constant need for validation creates anxiety, insecurity, and confusion. But when your identity is rooted in purpose, you no longer chase approval. You live from a place of clarity and confidence. Purpose gives you identity. It tells you who you are beyond titles, status, and performance. When you know why you were created, you stop comparing yourself to others. Comparison loses its power because you understand that you are uniquely designed for a specific assignment. You don't need to be like anyone else. You don't need to fit into someone else's mold. You are not here to impress the world. You are here to impact it. External validation is temporary. One moment people will celebrate you, and the next moment they may criticize you. If your identity depends on their praise, then your confidence will constantly rise and fall. But purpose is stable. It doesn't change based on public opinion. It keeps you grounded even when others don't understand your path. It strengthens you to keep going even when support is limited. When you are rooted in purpose, you make decisions based on alignment, not approval. You say yes to what grows you and no to what distracts you. You stop explaining yourself to everyone and start protecting your assignment. Purpose gives you laser focus. It sets boundaries. It helps you recognize what truly matters. Instead of asking, do they like me? You begin to ask, is this part of my calling? Purpose also heals insecurity. When you truly know who you are, you stop doubting your worth. You stop hiding your gifts. You stop shrinking to make others comfortable. You show up with authenticity, boldness, and excellence. You walk into rooms with quiet confidence because you understand you carry value within you. not because of applause, but because of design. Identity rooted in purpose also produces resilience. Even when you face rejection or misunderstanding, you don't fall apart. You recognize that not everyone is assigned to your journey. You understand that opposition doesn't define you. It often confirms that you are on the right path. You keep moving forward with certainty because your value is not something people give you, it is something you already possess. Living from purpose frees you from performance. You no longer chase likes, attention, or validation. You are driven by calling, not clapping. You live boldly, stand firmly, and walk confidently in who you were created to be. Your mind is like soil, and your thoughts are like seeds. Whatever you consistently meditate on will eventually take root and show up in your life. If you plant fear, you will harvest hesitation. If you plant doubt, you will harvest limitations. But if you plant faith, vision, and truth, you will harvest growth, clarity, and purpose. Meditation is not just about what you think occasionally, it's about what you allow to live in your mind daily. Your inner atmosphere determines your outer reality. Every decision, habit, and action starts as a thought. This is why your mind is the most valuable territory in your life. If you don't guard it, negativity will invade it. Distraction will steal your focus. Anxiety will dominate your peace. But when you intentionally protect your inner atmosphere, you create space for creativity, strength, and wisdom to flourish. You become more intentional with what you watch, listen to, and speak because you understand everything you consume becomes fuel for your thoughts. Meditation builds momentum. If you think on something long enough, it becomes a belief. Beliefs shape identity. Identity shapes behavior. Behavior shapes destiny. This is why two people can experience the same situation but produce completely different outcomes because their inner conversations are different. One meditates on problems, the other meditates on possibilities. One sees an obstacle, the other sees opportunity. Guarding your inner atmosphere means being aware of internal noise. Sometimes the loudest voice isn't the world, it's your own self-doubt. It's the replay of past failures or the fear of future outcomes. But you have the power to interrupt those patterns. You can choose thoughts that align with growth rather than defeat. You can replace discouragement with perspective. You can shift from "I can't" to "I will find a way." It also means surrounding yourself with the right influences. The people you spend time with, the conversations you engage in, and the environments you stay in all impact your mindset. If you stay around negativity, you will start to think small. But if you surround yourself with visionaries and encouragers, you will rise to a higher level. Protecting your inner atmosphere is not selfish, it's stewardship. When your meditation changes, your manifestation changes. Peace becomes your default instead of panic. Confidence replaces insecurity. Purpose replaces confusion. Instead of reacting to life, you begin to respond with wisdom and strength. You become more disciplined, more focused, and more aligned with your destiny. Your mind stops being a battlefield and becomes a breeding ground for breakthrough. Fear is one of the greatest paralyzers of destiny. It whispers worst-case scenarios, magnifies obstacles, and convinces you to stay where it feels safe. Fear keeps you in comfort zones that slowly become cages. It causes hesitation, procrastination, and missed opportunities. But something powerful happens the moment you choose faith over fear. You shift from survival to acceleration. Faith doesn't deny the challenge, it simply refuses to let the challenge control the outcome. Faith is the courage to move even when the path isn't fully clear. It is stepping forward when logic says wait. It is believing there is more for you even when your current circumstances don't show it yet. Fear analyzes, delays, and retreats. Faith acts, advances, and expects. When you align with faith, you begin to make decisions based on vision rather than intimidation. You start saying yes to growth, yes to risk, yes to purpose. Breakthrough often exists on the other side of a step of faith. Many people are one decision away from a completely different life, but fear convinces them to stay still. Faith pushes you beyond limitations. It stretches your capacity. It activates courage that you didn't even know you had. Every time you choose faith, you unlock new levels of potential within yourself. You begin to think bigger, dream bolder, and move faster toward your calling. Faith also changes your internal atmosphere. Fear creates noise. What if it fails? What if they reject me? What if I'm not capable? Faith creates clarity. What if it works? What if this is the moment? What if I was made for this? The voice you agree with becomes the future you live in. If you agree with fear, you will see closed doors. If you agree with faith, you will see possibilities. When you align with faith, you also align with timing. You stop waiting for perfect conditions and start trusting the process. You recognize that progress often begins with imperfect steps. You don't need to have everything figured out. You just need to move in the right direction. Faith is movement. Fear is paralysis. The difference between stagnation and acceleration is often one choice. Faith, Faith attracts resources, connections, and opportunities because it positions you where growth happens. It draws you out of the background and into your purpose. It ignites boldness, resilience, and creativity. Fear says, stay hidden. Faith says, step forward. Fear says, what if this falls apart? Faith says, what if this changes everything? The moment you stop negotiating with fear and fully embrace faith, the pace of your breakthrough shifts from gradual to immediate.